hello, if you guys can see us there. We know you can't see us in color. I know everything's in black and white. We're just told by our lead filmographer slash producer slash director that there's no color in this camera, so we apologize.
Unless you're colorblind, in which case, that's your problem, I guess.
So we'll, here we are again, and sorry we're talking so quietly or loudly, in case you can't hear us. Okay, but now we're back, and welcome to Super BS. My name is Brank.
Jank.
Dank.
Dane Cook. That's who I am now. Anyways.
I completely forgot he existed.
Dane Cook? Everybody loves Dane Cook, man. He is like the king of comedy.
He's like the Seth Rogen of stand-up. He's like...
Fuck shoes. Everybody knows that line.
Like...
His car.
All I remember is that one bit he did about... how he's talking about when you go to parties at other people's houses and the guy's like hanging on the refrigerator and he's like, somebody crapped on the coats.
No, you don't. That's the worst one. His only good bit was where he talked about when you hear a car accident happening outside, then everybody goes to run outside to look, and he's like, no, where's my shoes? Where are my shoes? Fuck shoes. And then he runs outside and they meet people and they're like, what were you doing? He's like, I was doing the dishes and and it's just like people talking about what they do.
The only good Dan Cook bit is when he's in Louis and Louis like talks to him about stealing his jokes.
Wait, when is this? In the TV show? Or?
Yeah,
okay.
in the TV show.
That's awesome.
They film an episode where like they have a conversation about Dan Cook stealing a Louis C.K. bit.
Which one is that?
I forget it. It's something about, I'm pretty sure that's something to do about an itchy butthole, but I don't totally remember.
That sounds like what it would be about.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are here to talk about Dane Cook, games, anime, and fanboys.
Not specific order.
Not specific order. So now we'll talk about games. Donna, what have you been playing? And I'm hoping you're not going to say what I think you're going to say.
I've been trying to finish Dragon Age Inquisition.
Say it!
I thought you finished it last week.
I did, but I've been playing through the DLC.
Okay.
So I played through. I will be finishing it later today. Everything. So the first two DLC.
Is the DLC like how long is DLC? Is it like another game in itself?
A bit longer than it should be.
Okay.
Just explain how many hours you've already put into the DLC.
I don't know because I haven't been keeping track, but probably 12 or so. I'm sure. Like the problem is that it's really hard to not be completionist in that game for me. So I tend to like take the long way around. Gimli quote.
Gimli.
But
don't hit the ring.
Got to toss me.
It's pretty. I mean, obviously this is 3 years old, but I'm enjoying it a lot. I think now that I've played through the Jaws of Hakkon, which is like the maligned DLC that everyone seemed to not like for some reason, I actually think it was great. I think what they should have done is taken out 2 or 3 of the useless in-game areas. Yeah. And replaced it with the Frostback Basin because it's actually a really interesting area.
Wait, real quick, to explain it to Jank over here, that in the game, like there were tons and tons of optional areas that had nothing to do with the story.
Did they offer you like items that would help you?
Yeah, but you never.
You didn't need
them.
You
didn't need them.
Okay.
There's never, for some reason, with Dragon Age, there's rarely like must-have loot.
Yeah.
Because you find tons, and there's almost too much. Because you're constantly finding purple weapons, which are like unique items.
Yeah. That
have unique stats and stuff. They're rare. You're constantly finding them, and you're always finding like ones that suck, which is really strange. And it's hard to tell. I'm sure like someone that's super nerdy about the systems of Dragon Age could say, but it's hard to say like whether it's more effective to have all the like added abilities that unique items give you versus just raw like attack power that you can get from crafting weapons.
Yeah.
I hate crafting in games.
I spent a lot of time on the crafting tables in that game, which I did not enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Because you had to load several scenes to get there.
I read that you just should barely ever craft. So like...
I crafted like everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so in games though, do people actually like that? Because I personally don't like it. I don't like...
Well, here's the thing that's annoying about it. So like the best... There's a great sword in the game that's the best in vanilla Dragon Age called the Sullivan Blade. And it has an ability on it. You can get a schematic for it as well to craft your own and make it slightly stronger. But even with masterwork and like a few like a few materials kind of jam. Like, the best thing about the sword is that it casts this ability called Pull of the Abyss, which is like a magic ability that only one character in the game has, and that character sometimes isn't in your post-game. Sometimes I mean all the times. So
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know who it is.
Well, but either way.
Yeah.
So it's super valuable, and if you craft it, you can maybe buff out like some stat boosts and some other stuff, but you can't. It doesn't come with that ability. Oh. So it's like like the same. Like there's the next best sword I found is in Jaws of Hakken, and it has like a chance to cast Chain Lightning just on hit, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
And you can craft your own version of that sword, but it won't have that. So it's like the unique stats of unique items are just usually better than the actual attack power I've found. But yeah, the side areas, it's not that there isn't anything cool in any of them. It's that they could easily have been condensed. Like we were talking about the Forbidden Oasis, which is an area that he didn't hate, and I didn't hate, but I thought could have been placed elsewhere, because the whole point is like a secret dungeon that you collect artifacts all over the world to unlock. Not really dungeons, secret doors. And they could have put that in any map, So it's like they could have just like axed a few maps, cut down 30 hours of the game easily.
But that's exactly what we were talking about.
So
previous episodes, they just want to make more.
Well, that's what we're talking about with Inquisition now, but everyone's hating. Andromeda for that exact same thing, where it's like, oh, it's so big. It's like, kind
of pointless stuff that doesn't matter, but there's stuff to do.
You have these big open planets, and the actual game only takes place on like 30% of this planet. So why do they give you the option to go? Yeah. I get what you're saying.
And So anyway, the Jaws of Hakken is a really unique area. It almost reminds me of Morrowind, because it's like kind of like exotic swamp, river, and then also mountains and snow. It's like it's very strange. And you meet the last Inquisitor, which is cool.
That's cool.
Or I shouldn't say meet, because that's kind of a big spoiler. You investigate, because it's 800 years before. So
spoiler.
But yeah, so you learn some cool things. I think it could have just easily replaced like 3 of the in-game areas.
Yeah.
But Trespasser is the main DLC that is leading into the next Dragon Age game for sure. It locks you off. It takes place 2 years after Vanilla Dragon Age.
So once you do it, you can't go back.
Yeah, once you do it, you can't go back.
Oh,
but I'm actually really intrigued. It's very intriguing. They set up some very big plot points. I've played through all the Dragon Ages, so I'm pretty familiar with like the world and the politics of the world and stuff. So I think there's some really exciting things. I'm really hoping that they make a Dragon Age 4 that I wouldn't mind if it's like a direct continuation and you play as the Inquisitor again. I think that would be super awesome. What would be great is that if it's like a 60-hour game instead of a 150-hour game.
That's so long.
Yeah, that's a frustrating part of any of these games. But did you get a chance to play anything else this week? Or no?
I probably played Salt and Sanctuary for a little more. Still
for a
fun.
little bit of time. That's a pretty cool game. What do you play, Jank?
I've been playing Prey, which is that's pretty fun.
We'll talk more about that in a second.
I started playing Doom.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Doom's
Nice,
pretty cool.
okay.
Talk about that for a second, because we're going to talk a lot about Prey soon.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I thought it was awesome. That's so fun.
I like the intro a lot.
The intro's great.
Where all the dudes are worshiping you.
Yeah.
And
It's so fun. It's crazy playing a game that's that fast and smooth. Because when I played it for like an hour and a half or so, and then I went back to Dragon Age, and it hurt my eyes because Dragon Age looked like
such a
It's
different.
It's hard, like the 30 FPS versus 60 FPS. It's hard to like think about that. Or, like, I don't really care. When you play games that are 60 FPS, like Doom, it's just like, oh man, I don't ever want to play 30 FPS again.
See, that's not how I felt. I felt almost like this, like the FPS of Doom is like unnatural. Like
really,
it's great for Doom. It's so fun that it's so fast and quick. But like when I played Inquisition today, and it looked great to me. Like it was fine. But when I played directly after playing Doom, it hurts my eyes.
Yeah, it's like going from inside.
I think your eyes just adjust, and then you're like.
Well, back when the original Hobbit came out, it was filmed in 60 frames per second. Peter Jackson. And
those look weird.
There's a story of people like coming out of like throwing up in the theater because it was like making them all dizzy watching it.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I get.
There's
I
also
can see
stories
that.
of people coming out from the third movie throwing up because there shouldn't have been a third movie. It's disgusting.
That third
that
movie is
was,
just a giant battle sequence. That's all.
They
Yeah,
should
but it's a
have,
giant battle sequence that Tolkien decided wasn't like not even important enough to include.
Yeah.
Was there actually like something it was based on, or was that?
It was in
Yeah.
The Hobbit.
It's
So
in
you
The Hobbit.
remember
Okay.
he gets hit in the head and then he misses
Missed
the
the whole
battle.
battle, yeah.
Oh.
And then he wakes up and that's.
But it's so great. Like that's like Peter Jackson's legacy is almost ruined with that third
The
movie.
Hobbit, I don't know. I think The Hobbit as a whole isn't great, but I would like to see the cut, the 3-hour cut. That's
extended cuts.
No, they already made it like years ago. Someone made a 3 or 4 hour cut that's just the book. Like that,
Oh.
they took all 3 movies, they threw out all the extra stuff, and they just made a book cut. And they have like 5 of these online.
I was
Really?
fine when it was 2 movies, but the fact that he like
I guess 2 would be.
the fact that he after it was 2 movies, after the second movie was supposed to come out, he's like, hold the phone, it's gonna be 3. And they did reshoots and re-edits and all this kind of stuff. It's like that's forever gonna be one of the worst decisions ever made for like a big huge
Yeah, I mean, there's so many
franchise.
bad decisions made in Hollywood for stuff. That was just part of. That was during that trend where like every movie was like Hunger Games. Oh, we got 3 books, let's make 4 movies. Harry Potter, we got 7 books, let's make 8 movies.
Yeah.
Like everybody was
But
just
it's
like,
just
we want
funny
more
'cause
money.
my understanding
Give us
is
more
that
money.
he wasn't under pressure to make it 3 movies.
Yeah,
He decided like his personal artistic decision was like, oh,
It
there's
was a
just
cash
to be
cow
3.
for sure. Yeah.
Well, probably Peter Jackson had a similar thing that like George Lucas, where the first movies were like, hey, you couldn't do this on your own, you have to go through cuts and editors and people who matter. And he made all of his,
And the
Right,
studio
plateau.
I think the studio has more, unless the director has final cut privileges.
Well,
the
so
studio gets to say.
that's kind of what happened to George Lucas for Star Wars episodes
Yeah.
1 through 3. I mean, we could get onto this topic for a while, but anyways, just real quick, he grew up, Star Wars was so great, everybody trust him, like, hey, don't let him do whatever he wants, he's George Lucas, and that's why we got episode 1, 2, 3. And that's probably similar to Peter Jackson.
I heard it's actually, from my understanding, is that some of the problems are not his fault because he if you remember,
On Star Wars or Peter Jackson?
Peter Jackson.
Okay.
Because he inherited a lot of those problems because originally the production was going to be Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
And apparently the script that Peter Jackson got was so terrible that he had to rewrite every night before shooting the next day.
Oh, wow.
So, because, I mean, I wouldn't say the script of The Hobbit is bad. Like, there's no parts in The Hobbit where I'm like, ugh, like
Right.
that. It's just, there's just stuff that doesn't need to happen because it's stupid.
Yeah, there are some cringeworthy, like the romance stuff was so dumb. Like,
Well, it's dumb because it's not in the book, and it's dumb because
stupid and not necessary.
right. But what I'm saying is that I don't think it was badly done. It was just dumb that it was done.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So, how did we sidetrack to this? We were talking about Salt and Sanctuary, or Doom. We were talking about 60 FPS.
Doom.
Thanks a lot for that.
Sorry, just
Jay.
interesting tidbit.
But anything else how far are you? Just first level still of Doom, or are you?
Yeah, I played through the first mission. I bought a hard drive for my Xbox so I can install a bunch of games that I owned.
No, I need to get one.
They're
I keep
super
having
cheap
to
and-
uninstall everything just to
Why
play
would
a new
you?
game.
So you're still running off the 500 gig? Man, I have two terabytes plugged into mine, and I'm tempted to get a 4 terabyte and then use
He's
my
got a
second.
2-2. He said it here.
I got a
2-2.
2-2. I wear 2-2s
You guys
everywhere.
heard it, 2-2.
All right.
Brink Arena.
What?
Okay. So talk to us
The-
about what your games.
this-
And let's save Prey. Have you been playing anything else first?
Okay, just real quick, I have a question for you. Doom. Okay, I've never played Doom before.
Okay.
So what?
That's not a question.
What is what's the story with Doom? Like I know there's zombies or demons.
Those are demons.
Okay, so
And zombie demons.
is it kind of like Dead Space? How it's like
No.
more religious based, or is they just
It's-
stumbled upon?
So okay, don't ask me about Doom lore because I've played the original Dooms, but like
Talk to us in chat about it.
sparingly. Like
okay,
I think it's a cool aesthetic though because it's like, from my understanding is that at least the way it's sort of explained in the new Doom, I don't know, like, again, I don't know anything about Doom lore, but I just know it looks cool. But basically, like, settled Mars, terraforming Mars, they find, like, weird energies and, like, things in Mars that, like, open dimensional things where demons come through, and that's what you're fighting.
Yeah, it has something to do with that. I don't know if it gets religious at the end like Wolfenstein does, but because Wolfenstein is, I feel like they're made similar times. I always feel like same type of thing, like it's just normal killing Nazis till it's occult at the end. So I don't know if it's.
But there's a lot of Nazi ties to the occult, so I think there's a foundation there.
So I don't know if Doom. I don't think it's a religious thing. I think it's honestly you just kill demons over and over and over again because you're on Mars.
But it's great because even in the beginning of the game, like the character you play, like he wakes up in this facility, the Space Marine, and the people at the facility that are like in charge that caused this like outbreak of demons, they're like trying to explain to you what they did and how, and he just like doesn't care and just like breaks all the telecoms and computers. So I think the lore aspect of Doom is pretty much like,
I think they're just having fun. The new Doom is just like, hey, all these characters are made because of the Space Marine of Doom, and it's just like, here's this generic blank slate, kind of like silly characters just gonna like, hey, we're trying to tell you about story. Nope. So what have you been playing besides the big game of the hour? Because I want to talk about that too.
I keep playing Legend of Zelda. Okay, I know I talked to you.
Yeah,
about
you
this.
should be playing that.
I mentioned this to you earlier. I went around and I've probably found a good like 80% of the shrines. Except
how many shrines have you found? Because I can tell you.
I don't know. I haven't done many of the hidden shrine quests though, so I'm like scratching.
They have like a shrine counter.
Do they?
Well, or if not, you can just do it by hearts or whatever you have.
You're forgetting that I don't play Nintendo stuff much. Like this is my first.
Man, it's so different from other games.
But
there's nothing similar.
Anyway, the controls, man. I'm telling you.
Okay. So, anyways, continue.
Okay, so I did those, and I'm like, okay, I have 9 heart containers now, so I figured that's enough to start going after the bosses. So I got to the first boss, the guy in what's the one in the desert, the elephant looking thing.
So you went after the camel first?
Yes.
That's the hardest boss in the game.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. So I got through like the first 2 stages of him. Like I got the first part and then the part where he throws the lightning rods.
And that's also super easy. There's a trick to that, but I don't want to spoiler it.
And then I got to the last point and I just ran out of weapons. Like I ran out of weapons and shields. So I had to actually leave that, and now I'm playing more of the game to get gear, level up my gear.
Have you been like getting your Korok seeds at least so you can hold a lot of stuff?
I just started that.
Have you talked to the guy?
I talked to him, and I got to the forest where he says, "Come find me in the forest." And
Korok? No, Corey? What's the forest that's in all the Zeldas? The hidden forest. The Lost Woods. Hyrule Forest. Bam! Anything? No, it's not. So, okay, you still enjoying it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, man, it's a great game. And the other game you've been playing is
Prey.
Okay, before we get to that, I have dabbled with a little bit of Persona still. I'm kind of putting it on the back burner. I don't have the time.
Wait. Brian, what games are you playing?
My name is Brank. Thank you very much. I have dabbled with a little bit of Persona, but I kind of quit doing that. And I played a little bit more Mario Kart, which was fun. But really what I've been playing is Prey. And how far are you in Prey?
I'm like an hour into it.
Okay. And Prey, for those of you who haven't played, and this is something I think Donna would like a lot.
Those of you that haven't prayed.
And those of you who haven't prayed yet, Prey is pretty much the next BioShock game. It is everything outside of studio. It is identical to a BioShock. It's more BioShock than like a Deus Ex.
Do you think when people make Let's Plays of Prey, they call it Let's Pray?
Bam! So, in Prey, you walk around like a space PlayStation, space PlayStation.
PlayStation 5.
And you're gonna like, it's kind of like a Metroid style game where you go and you can unlock stuff, and there's like abilities that you get by finding these things called neuromods, and you use set amount of neuromods to upgrade your skill trees and do all this other stuff. Anyways, I am totally digging it, not so much for the story, but more kind of like how BioShock 1 had a semi-interesting story, but really, really cool environments and atmospheres to explore. Prey is a game that I just want to keep being in this space station. I keep wanting to play. The negative is they try to do resource scarcity, kind of like BioShock 1 did.
You run out of bullets really fast.
But they have respawnable enemies. So unlike BioShock 1, it's really, really tricky because once you kill everybody in a room, they may not all be dead next time you show up, and you are going to be backtracking. So that is the only frustrating thing I found in it so far.
Can we talk about the mimics though?
Oh, that's the coolest thing, man. That is so
They
cool.
can be anything. Like if you play this game with the lights out, you are gonna crap yourself.
This isn't a spoiler at all, but because it happens within like the first 10 minutes. But one of the main enemies that you find is kind of like. Did you guys both play Half-Life or Half-Life 2?
Oh, Half-Life 2.
Okay. Do you remember the beast called the head crab? It's like a little small, like weird chicken-looking thing on 4 legs, like a hairless or featherless chicken, and it jumps on your head and tries to attack you and kill you. Do you guys remember this enemy?
No.
Okay, it's the main enemy that you find on the scientists. If there's a head crab on them, they're walking around like a zombie. Anyways, mimics are like that. However, they have the ability, like their name says, to mimic anything. So, like you're walking in a room, there's 2 cups of coffee there. Why are there 2 cups instead of 1 or whatever? One of them might be a mimic. Until 3 or 4 hours in, you have no way of knowing what's going to be a mimic and what's not. So you're just walking around hoping none of these things are actually monsters. And they're going to kill you instantly, but they move quick, they can jump around, and then they can mimic into anything else that they want to. And there's stuff later that you can do that will change if you can find them, stuff that you can do that can give you abilities similar to them. There's so much to this game and so much depth and it's so much cool stuff that it's like I kind of want to keep playing it, but I'm also like I don't want to miss something, so I've been just like doing these side objectives, which you can get a ton of too, but from the people on the station.
Just the first hour too, like it's the story is intriguing to me because
did you get to see the video?
The video of
I don't want to say much more than that.
Okay.
Did you get to go to his office?
I went to his office.
Did you see the video?
Yes.
Did you see the full video?
No.
Okay, then that's. I don't want to say much more.
It got shut off by the brother.
Okay, yeah. Well, we don't want to say much more than that.
Okay.
But the game that's still really early on when you see the full video.
It creates a lot of intrigue like early on, so you kind of.
When do you get your spirit bow?
You get your spirit bow in the second mission, or probably the 14th mission, 14th level. Spirit bow's late, right? In the original Prey.
No, you get it.
Really early on?
Yeah.
Man, original Prey, the better of the Prey games. Now
you have to unlock
I don't know. I think the original Prey isn't it.
Original Prey is great. You should play this one though. This one is literally they owned the name Prey. I know that's a big beef you have, but they owned the name Prey. They bought it stupidly. They bought the rights to Prey.
Can we expect some Easter eggs to the first game?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm 7 hours in. I haven't seen a single tie, and it would be crazy if they have a tie. Like these enemies aren't the same. I mean, it would be cool. It'd be really really funny. But this is taking. This happens within the first 40 minutes, so I can reveal. This takes place in space, on a space station, nowhere near Earth.
It's like an alternate universe where JFK didn't get shot.
Yeah, he didn't get shot, and they
put all this money towards space exploration.
And we bought this giant thing from the Russians. So it's a good game. But yeah, I think with that, we should probably take a break, come back, talk about some crafting, E3, and any of the other cool stories. That sound good?
Just crafting.
Badoosh! Just craft it!
If you're tired of sifting through flea markets for rare and unique games, we can help. Retro City Games in Henderson, Nevada, only 5 minutes from the Las Vegas Strip, has all your favorite gaming staples, classics, and a wide selection of rare games with new stuff always appearing on our shelves. Come in and chat with Nicole or Doug about your love of games and watch as they help you complete your collection or find your childhood favorite. And don't forget, Retro City Games loves trade-ins. So if you have any Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, Xbox, PlayStation, or even PC games, come in and visit Retro City Games today. Welcome to the new metropolis of gaming, Retro City Games.
Okay, should we be back yet?
Kick us off, man.
And we are back. This is a phone game. We're all playing a game on our phones. It's called Friends with Phones.
Yahtzee.
And it's not Yahtzee, you dumbass. I just said it was Friends with Phones. It's a game we're
clearly not playing the same game.
Well, anyways, I wanted to talk about...
I play only Zombie Yahtzee.
Zombie Yahtzee. There's not enough zombie games. That's what I want to know. The thing I wanted to talk about is crafting in games. Because we were talking about this...
What did you want to talk about?
Shut up. Oh my gosh. Shut up!
I'll murder you!
I want to talk about crafting in games. We were talking about Inquisition. It's in Prey as well. Actually, I think Prey does it really well. But I want to get your guys' opinion on crafting games, what you like, what you don't like about it.
The only game that I don't really mind crafting so much in is, well, Well, actually, no, the only 2 games is Fallout and Elder Scrolls.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
And the reason is because in Fallout. Well, I'll get to that in a sec. But in Skyrim specifically, but I guess in all the Elder Scrolls games, but there's rarely. The problem with crafting in those games is that there's never cool weapons that you find.
You could say the same about Skyrim, though, to be honest, because
that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
that's what I said. Skyrim and all that kind of stuff.
But I still feel like you could say there's even when you craft it, you're not crafting something super cool. You are crafting Dragon Bone stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, no, it's
but
cool.
You can't craft unique legendary.
But that's what
stuff.
I'm saying. But it sucks because there's never anything cool. There's never an ancient sword to find, which I guess is fine. I mean, that's all Zelda is. So
yeah,
there's plenty of games that have that kind of stuff. But yeah, you'll randomly find swords through quest lines in Elder Scrolls game. Rarely are they not even. It's not even can you just craft better swords than them, but they are rarely even remotely good.
Yeah, but that's a systems for the game that's a problem. Crafting, the main thing I'm curious about is what do you guys not like? Because I noticed when we were talking about Inquisition, you guys both didn't like the crafting system in there. And I want to know, why don't you guys like crafting? And what's the different system? Because a good example would be an upgrade system in some games where it's you need X, Y, Z of these items is pretty much the same as crafting.
Sure.
So I'm just wondering, I don't mind it that much. I've been playing Prey. It's awesome in Prey.
Okay, so what I was going to get to with Fallout is that I think crafting is great in Fallout because that's kind of part of the
Which
spirit.
Fallout, though?
Any.
Yeah, because 4 is kind of different, but I was just curious.
Yeah, 4 seems a little more complicated than I want it to be.
Yeah,
but,
it's got some cool stuff. The weapon mods is definitely a cool thing.
But yeah, there's mods I think in New Vegas.
Really? You can go to a table, make a mod, throw it on a gun?
I think so. I'm trying to remember. I should know this because I've played that game a ton. But anyway, I think that just the notion of crafting is boring. So I don't mind an upgrade tree.
Yeah.
Because that's what RPGs are in a lot of ways.
Well, yeah. But I mean an upgrade tree that requires you to have X amount of items.
See, it's not the items. It's literally the sifting through tons of options. Where it's like in Skyrim.
Yeah.
How early can you make an iron sword? But it's why would you ever want to make an iron sword? So it's just it just adds to a giant list of
get to
useless
the point
stuff.
Too, where you just go and you can pick them up anywhere.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's the problem I have with crafting and things is it just feels here's a giant list of stuff to sift through because it's not it reminds me of it's I don't want a mini game attached to it. That's why I didn't that's the one thing I didn't like about Fantasy Life.
Really? I loved playing those games, man.
I loved Fantasy Life. I hated crafting because it was
I still thought it was kind of fun to hit A at the right time or whatever and do...
It is fun until you realize that you have to do it for 10 hours.
Yeah, no, I get you. It is definitely a grind.
So it's I don't think that there's anything you can do to make crafting fun. That's why it's I would rather just find unique weapons and have them be good enough to do. Because you're just I don't really mind having, if you had a weapon that you could upgrade via an upgrade tree, which requires you to collect items or whatever, same with armor, that's cool. But if you're if I'm just collecting raw materials to sort through a list of schematics or blueprints to it's just I just don't want to spend the time doing it.
I'm kind of on the same page. I don't like having to. If you want a certain set of armor, I don't like not being able to just buy it. I would rather go out and fight a bunch of enemies to get money to buy the armor than spend. Because we've talked about this before. Games are too long. I want to get through this game as fast as possible. If it's I'll enjoy some of the side quests if I like it enough. Yeah. But I don't want to spend hours and hours going out across the map looking for these materials, especially if they're ones that somebody only drops once or twice.
So that is somewhere that I would agree with you definitely. Crafting is not fun when it's a rare drop that you need to make X item. But I've recently played 2 games where crafting is done well. With Legend of Zelda, there's a place where you can upgrade your armor through finding materials in the game. I generally enjoy that because you run around killing these guys. They drop.
See,
the
you're
items.
saying upgrading, not crafting.
But it's the same mechanics.
You
still need
to
X
craft
amount
them.
of materials. You can do this thing. I consider them. They're all.
But-
it's the same system.
But
is what I'm
are
trying to get
you
at.
so item management wise? Are you? Is it you don't have armor and you have to build the armor?
No.
And when you craft, when you upgrade it each time, you have a new version. Like you have multiple. Now you have like 10 iron armors.
No, it's not. But the systems are.
See,
the
that's
same.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
To me, that's not crafting. That's just upgrading. Like.
But so I think.
I know that it is. I know that it is crafting. But
Yeah.
like what I meant is, it's like when it just comes down to like when it's just like all part of the boringness of inventory management, where it's
that's a problem that Bethesda does. But this game I've been playing by Bethesda, actually, Prey. The thing that I like that they do is they have one of the best things that every game should ever do when they have this is they have junk items.
Mm-hmm.
Items that you pick up specifically to do stuff with. Craft. Games do this where you craft, sell, whatever. I love it because you can normally hold X. I think even Inquisition does this. And then when you go to the place that says sell all junk or do all this.
Yeah.
Prey does that, but you go to Recycler that recycles all these items into their raw material form, which is only like 5 things. It's only 5 different raw materials. And the game does all that sorting for you. You don't do anything. You just hold X, click recycle, and then you get those. And when you go up to this machine, it says, hey, do you want to get like a thing that lets you get a skill point? Or do you want to get a weapon? Or do you want to get a weapon mod? Or and you find these plans to make these around the space station. And all you do is use those little raw materials that you've been getting. And I don't have to like run around or like fight stuff. Or
So
find
are
stuff.
you building weapons from scratch?
You can do
and
that,
there's an
or you
infinite
can find them.
variation of how many.
There's no variation. They're all the same weapon. If you want, you can build them. You don't have to.
So yeah. So what? Like so, let's say you find like Joe shotgun.
They're all Joe shotguns. There's the only way to make Joe shotgun better shotgun is to either make or find weapon upgrade kits.
Okay.
And that's
But
that's cool.
now if I have Joe shotgun and I upgrade it, is there like am I locked into certain choices where there's also 5 different ways I could upgrade it?
No, you can upgrade. You only have X amount of upgrade kits. You can make them if you decide to spend your raw materials on that. Raw materials is essentially the currency. That's why I like my favorite way of when crafting is done is when you are essentially using currency. It's the same as buying and selling.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So you only have you can upgrade whatever you have the points for. It doesn't change anything besides makes the gun stronger. And then if you put skill points into weapon upgrading, you can keep upgrading any weapon more. But it doesn't actually make it so like, oh, I have shotgun that's good at fire, but it's bad at this. Like the game doesn't force you down paths where you have to choose plus or minus. You can make another
where
shotgun,
it's
but
like
you don't have to.
I finally caved in Inquisition, and I allow myself to do this at the end where I have a couple different weapons depending on the fight I'm about to enter into.
Okay.
But I hate that.
No, and I understand that too. That's why I think Prey handles it really well.
Yeah.
They allow you to have your... So I pretty much... Every extra shotgun I find, because they put them all over the place later. So, hey, you missed it earlier. Now you have another option to grab one. Every other shotgun you find, it's like, well, I can dismantle it for spare parts, which you can use to fix things, or I can put it in the recycler and then turn it into raw materials.
My thing is like you mentioned earlier in BioShock, like games where you have to have, you run ammo scarce in the game.
Yeah.
So you naturally, when you pick up items, you want to sell it so you can get more ammo. See, if you're gonna have a complex crafting system, I don't want that to be part of it. Like if
Ammo?
no scarcity of ammo.
But their crafting system actually makes it so you can make ammo too if you want.
Yeah. No,
I just think I'm playing a game that doesn't I enjoy it. Every time I go,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hey, I need 30 pistol bullets. Instead of the game forcing me to only have the bullets that it wants me to have, as soon as I find the fabrication plan, I go up to the machine, I click pistol bullets, I see if I have the right materials, which are only like 5 of them, and I click make, and I get the bullets. And I feel like, why don't more games just do it where it's just easy and fun,
keep it simple,
and it's super simple, and it's like there are too many games where it's like Skyrim. I felt the same way where it's like, why am I even making this stuff? Like, I get it was better, like I get the swords were better or whatever, but I kind of hated it because I do want, like you were talking about, like legendary weapons in those types of games.
Yeah.
Where a game like Prey, I just want to play the game and have fun. And hey, if I want to get skill points, I can choose to put my crafting into that.
Yeah.
Or if I want to do weapon, or if I want to get just bullets, I can do that too.
Yeah, that's how Inquisition is too, where it's like I just don't make it. And I avoided crafting for the most part in that game. I remember reading some tips just like before I started, it was like, don't bother with crafting. It's pretty useless. Because it is like...
I spent a lot of time there. I can't remember why. I felt like I kept having too many... You have a certain inventory space, don't you?
There's a storage chest in the crafting area.
But I mean, but on you can only keep X amount of inventory.
You can upgrade it a few times, but...
Yeah, but I mean, because I remember like running out of space pretty quick by the later half of the game. Like, I don't remember why, but I probably had too many weapons or whatever. I probably have a great sword.
You can't stack items in that?
You can't... Well, I don't think... You can stack, I think, raw materials, right? In Inquisition.
Yeah.
It's not each,
okay.
But you can't like stack weapons.
Okay, no, not yeah. Okay.
And a lot of enemies drop weapons, right?
The max inventory space in Inquisition is 90.
Okay.
Which fills up pretty quick. Because usually, like when I sell everything and then store all my unique weapons, because I rarely sell those unless I have duplicates. I just put them in like the game storage. Usually, I have like 20 spaces automatically filled, 20 to 30. So you basically have like an inventory of 60.
Yeah, I think we should talk about more news soon, but the reason why I brought up crafting is because I've seen it done well recently, and I've seen it done very poorly in terms of like Fallout 4, where the crafting is fine, but inventory management became such a big thing that I literally decided to forego achievements so I could just have unlimited inventory space and mods.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's just like the choosing between and like needing... I don't know. It's just more than I want out of the game.
Yeah, you just kind of want to enjoy the game.
So it's like, okay, here's your mod that makes your spread higher. Like, I don't know if I've ever played a like shooter RPG where spread is really that important. So it's like, I don't know. Doom seems to have an interesting upgrade system where you just upgrade your weapons.
But you have to choose one or two. Yeah,
I think you can get both. You just have to find the points for them.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I did like that. That was kind of fun. I think every level has maybe one or two of those hidden around.
And it's fun to explore the map. So I've been doing that.
The hard thing for me is I actually couldn't find like the second hidden space in the first level, and it drove me crazy. I'm like, where is it? Because they have like, they could tell you you're missing this or this or this. So it's like, what am I missing? But yeah, it was just something I want to bring up because it's after Minecraft, every game's been doing crafting. So, and that happened a little bit before, but really once Minecraft started, like every game now has some type of crafting.
Minecraft's fault?
Minecraft, the least popular game on Earth, which is actually coming to Nintendo Switch today.
Is it?
I'm not going to buy it because it's $30 and I don't want to play it again, but
how many different iterations of Minecraft can they possibly make, though?
I mean, it's just the same game. It's just ported. This one's just $30 because it's on Switch, so people are willing to pay that. It's portable. I think it's, honestly, if I love Minecraft, I would buy it today because the idea of Minecraft is like making fun, cool stuff. And with the friends online, like we did on like Xbox 360. And I think
that was really fun to play on Minecraft together.
Yeah, it's fun. You know, you're building stuff together, you're running around, you're just enjoying the world. But as a solo game, it is probably one of the more boring games I've ever played. But yeah, you guys had some news to talk about, huh? You guys want? When do you want to take it?
Yeah, go for it, Donna.
Something about BioWare putting Mass Effect on the back burner.
Yeah, well, it's funny because we've been talking about Dragon Age Inquisition so much today. BioWare's other main property, you know, and I mentioned this earlier. I just want to bring it up again. BioWare used to be the king of making only single games. They made Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. They made Jade Empire. Before that, I know you're about to say they made Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. But they used to not do, like, sequels. They used to do just Knights of the Republic, Jade Empire.
But there is a Knights of the Old Republic too. I know Obsidian
But it's Obsidian.
made it.
But that's what I'm saying, though. That was kind of like, they used to just make their one-off games. And now we're in this
And
this
then they
alternate...
would let Obsidian make the better sequel. So.
Better sequel. I've heard Knights of the Republic 2 is good. I've heard it doesn't have the budget, so it ends weird. But I supposedly they went and patched it on PC.
I've heard that it's got a super weird and awesome story.
Yeah,
so that's what Obsidian does better. Is they just need
to get like better engineers to fix their game.
It's not them. It's because they're not they're like a studio that, I mean, BioWare is the same way now.
Yeah.
But before BioWare was BioWare. Now it's like EA.
Yeah.
And they own BioWare. So now they're dependent on someone else's money. Like that's what Obsidian is. It's like it's not that they don't know how to, because Pillars of Eternity I've played through and it's totally funded by themselves. And I had relatively few bugs.
Okay.
Not anything game breaking. I know there are, like, every game like that has game-breaking bugs.
Because
but
I heard the Espionage Obsidian game had tons
yeah,
of
well,
bugs.
isn't that, that's
love
the one
to play
that Sega forced out, right?
Yeah.
So
I heard it's a great game,
Is this
too.
the problem? Like, we're seeing bad games because companies that own companies are forcing those companies to
Oh yeah,
Well, but
that's what happened
yeah.
with that's what happened with Dragon Age 2. It's also
Yeah.
what happened with
Andromeda.
where it's like I remember there's like I don't know if this was like a rumor or whatever, but the rumor was that EA forced BioWare to rush Dragon Age 2 if they wanted to spend more time on Mass Effect 2.
That
So
was
like
crazy.
you can choose. So and that's because that they don't care about quality,
Yeah.
they care about money. So it's like and I think Dragon Age 2 is an insanely unique and awesome game. The main problem is that it's just got so much recycled land, but
It doesn't feel like a AAA game. It definitely feels like back in those days, like those B tier games that used to come out. Like,
Yeah.
Because I haven't played much of it. I know you beat it, but I just remember from the beginning, I'm like, Dragon Age Origins looked like as good as this, you know? And I remember the videos being like, whoa, this looks so cool and stuff. But anyways, we were talking about, you mentioned the other game though, they're putting on the back burner, Mass Effect Andromeda. A lot of that probably has to do with what we were talking about with with EA forcing it out the door. But what's going on? What did they say exactly?
they said that they're scaling back their studio that made it, and
They're not closing it. That's a good thing.
No, they're transferring people to other projects, and they're not laying off people either.
Which is
as far
good.
as it's good.
They said Montreal is just going to be a support studio now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and apparently the team that made Mass Effect wasn't like I know that the people that worked that created Mass Effect are gone from BioWare.
Yeah, the
But I know
doctors.
that a lot of the team members are still there. But it was the other their B team was made Andromeda, even though they have their A team.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the A team was on Inquisition and whatever the next Dragon Age is, because Inquisition, I haven't played Andromeda, but Inquisition was pretty good, polished, and it was like a good game when it came out. So
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm kind of bummed that they put Mass Effect Andromeda on the back burner, but I didn't need to. I didn't even buy this one. Like, I don't need to play it anytime
Let me ask
soon.
you this, so like
You're the only person who's beaten it. What do you think? You're the only person who's played it, even.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy to me how turned off I am by the game.
Yeah,
just
we
being
loved
so,
Mass
yeah,
Effect.
I have like a jacket with a Mass Effect patch on it.
Yeah.
I'm a
Ink7,
big
man.
Mass Effect fan.
when
I've read the novels.
Yeah.
Like
when I got to the end of the game, I did not care about any of the characters. I didn't care about the ending. It was just getting through it. I was like, okay, well, I beat this game. Put it back on the shelf.
And that's why it's been on sale so many times. It's on sale
But-
this week.
But the problem is that even if the game, even if I had heard, I tend to be more forgiving in the narrative department if the aesthetic is there.
Yeah.
Even if I had heard the same beats about the same bits about the story being kind of whatever, and the characters not being that great and all that kind of stuff, if the game was just 40 hours shorter and or 40% smaller or something,
Okay with it.
I would have bought it. I probably would have finished it because I just don't want to freaking play
It's too
that
much.
much.
The
too
funny
big.
thing is, they did exactly what I was hoping that they would do, where they allow these big traversable planets. The only negative is they filled them with nothing and made it kind of pointless. I was hoping it would be a game where you get to explore the planets and see, but I was hoping they were going to follow the new thought on narrative, which is hey, less side quests, make them all cooler, more
See,
important, and take you to places.
On that note, though, even in the main quest, when you're on certain planets, to get from one point to another, you literally have to drive almost 10 minutes to go.
But that's
point
why
A to
some
point
games,
B.
you can make that fun, though, still. If you fill that point A to point B with interesting stuff. Oh, there's a battle in the middle here where these people are getting attacked, you know?
Yeah.
I get it. That costs money and resources and
at
time.
least-
The important feeling of side quests in the old Mass Effect games is so important. You're
and that was
is
why,
this race gonna live?
Yeah, and that's why focus was good for those games, because we were on 360. We didn't have the the ability memory-wise to make these giant plants that you could go. I was hoping that they'd get the best of both worlds.
I don't think you can do that.
You need to play The Witcher then. That's the only thing I have to say is and I know everybody's hitting that drum, beating it all day as Witcher, but it is the game that made me think maybe this is actually possible, because I've never seen it before, but it did it well where I'm doing side quests that would normally be oh, go here, kill this, and there was a real story that was cool. and I don't know why other games can't do it.
Mass Effect Andromeda side quests are incredibly unfulfilling unless you're doing like your loyalty missions where you're and even like the loyalty missions.
I've heard
like,
those aren't even great.
The character you're not in, because at least like with the first 3 Mass Effects, there were consequences of not doing them. Like there's always that small chance that someone on your crew was going to die. You didn't know who it was, but it just depended on.
You mean the end of 2?
Yeah,
I didn't play 3 enough. I don't know if that.
With this one, it doesn't matter if they hate you because you don't use them most of the time anyway. So it's not like there's no thing. But even at the end of the game, I still was holding out hope that, with the next installment that they would turn it around, but I don't. Do you guys?
I mean, you'll get another installment, I'm sure.
Really far down the line. But do you guys think so? What do you think this means for like the story DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda? I know they were talking about. Do you think that's ever gonna?
I mean, they may still do. They may do something like Trespass because they've been good at doing that for all of their games since 3. Well, no, since 2, where they've been making added story stuff that goes down the road. But you know what? This game's having so many problems. They just released another big patch that made it, because I guess you could romance 2 people in Mass Effect Andromeda. PB was one of their names, and another 2 characters.
PB and J.
PB and J.
Yeah.
J was the other character.
Pam Beasley and Jim Halpert.
So what? They changed it. So
what?
They changed it so you can't.
You cannot. No. So they patched that out. And they just patched. I mean, if you see their patch notes, like tons and tons and tons of stuff, and people are making videos like, "Hey, look at this and look at this."
Wasn't there some kind of glitch in the first game where you could romance like multiple characters? Like
I don't think the first game had.
There in one of the games there was like on YouTube. I watched a video and it shows you how to make it so you can sleep with all the people.
It's not a glitch. You can just do it. I think without having you have to choose between people eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember that stuff. I wasn't reading as much gaming news back at that time, so I don't remember reading about all the glitches. This one, the glitches that, and I'm not always concerned with those types of glitches. The glitches that I'm concerned with now are like animation frame rates don't work properly, quests don't load, saves get corrupted.
It's like funny though, because we notice that stuff, but like your casual gamer doesn't really notice it. Because I
think most gamers, like if they played Mass Effect Andromeda right when it released, would notice it, because it wasn't smooth. It wasn't like a AAA game.
It was choppy, but I mean in most cases, like if I were someone that just randomly picked up a game and started playing it, I probably wouldn't notice a lot of this technical stuff.
Are those the people who buy Mass Effect though?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that it's so funny, like how companies constantly will sell out to corporations and swear that it won't affect them. It's only going to be for the good. It's the same thing. It's that same thing that happens with beer, where it's everyone sells out to Budweiser and they say oh, it's going to make us even better, but it never does, because it's always about the money. And eventually, even if things work out for a while, eventually it goes to shit. So I think that's what we're seeing happening here. I have hope for the next Dragon Age because Inquisition was great.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's good.
But I think what's going to happen is that the next Mass Effect game is going to be totally dictated by trends, because their entire, seems like BioWare's entire identity is just now rolled up in whatever the corporate backing of EA wants them to do.
Yeah.
So since Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't a success critically because everyone seems to not care for it that much.
EA is going
to the narrating's not great, or the narrative is supposed to be not great. The gameplay is supposed to be janky. It's supposed to be too over-bloated, too big.
Yeah,
it's come check out how big this game is, and now everyone's like, it's too big. So what's going to happen is that they're going to put Mass Effect on the back burner, and then maybe in 3 years they'll start a new Mass Effect game, and whatever trend is huge in games then is what EA is going to say, okay, it has to be like this. So right now we're at peak Assassin's Creed. Here's your points of interest on your massive map.
Yeah.
Go jerk yourself off and hate yourself.
Well, because
maybe if in 5 years things are back down to simplistic shooters, we're probably going to get a really streamlined short Mass Effect.
Yeah.
If mobile gets back in trend again,
there was one of those.
Right.
I never played it.
Maybe we'll get a live game, like a Destiny type of thing, like a progressive service type of game. Maybe if I don't know what other trends are. Maybe if racing games become the main thing, we'll get a Mass Effect racing game. That's what I think. That's what Mass Effect is going to be. Period. Now, because Because that's what BioWare is. They're just like in the pocket of EA, so they have to do.
They pretty much only have one more chance though to win fans back. If the next Mass Effect game is crap, then
I mean it's
gonna
be a long time.
Their only chance left is Dragon Age.
Yeah,
because I don't think anyone has faith that a new Mass Effect game is going to be good right now.
Yeah,
like oh, we messed up, let's make a better one. They're gonna I think people now are waiting for okay. I hope Dragon Age doesn't suck now. And if it does, I think we're going to see BioWare shut down.
and Mass Effect Andromeda was not great for several reasons. I mean, I get it. EA had their fiscal core. They had to get the game, or fiscal year. They had to get the game out because they didn't want all their investors.
But it's not even the bugs. It's the spirit of what the game is versus what Mass Effect is.
Definitely, and I think though a lot more people would have liked it, and the game would have been better if either they knew exactly what they're. It could have also been they just didn't know what they were doing. You know, they literally could have been like, let's make a bunch of ideas, and then at the end we'll figure it out, which is what a lot of people do, and they just never figured it out at the end.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they have another chance, man. To be honest, like Mass Effect 3, as much love as it got, it also got a lot of hate, and a lot of people were expecting this to be the redemption for Mass Effect. But
here's the thing about Mass Effect 3 is that Mass Effect 3 was a great game. The problems with Mass Effect 3 relate back to team again. It relates back to the fact that they changed directions in Mass Effect 2 because the guy that created Mass Effect was no longer at BioWare.
My only beef with Mass Effect 3 was just your normal beef about the ending. I like the game as a whole. I didn't.
I don't know. I didn't play.
I found that the best way to view Mass Effect 3 is that the entire game is an ending because you tie up all your character stories. Like that's the part of Mass Effect 3 that's awesome. The ending is whatever, but I didn't mind the ending I was expecting to hate it a lot more, but I think that Mass Effect just had an identity crisis with the original trilogy because the guy, I think his name is Drew, he created the universe and then left the company. So there's all these story ties and foundation that they talk about in Mass Effect 1 and parts of Mass Effect 2 that never get fulfilled and change direction. So instead of it's Mass Effect was like Star Wars. It's a campy universe filled with weird aliens. There is lots of lore there, but it's about the character story. It's about Shepard. It's about the relationships. That's what Mass Effect was about. And then the metaphysics of the universe are kind of on the back burner. And then it was in the middle of Mass Effect 2, it's the director of the game was what if we made it less like Star Wars and more like The Matrix? And then Mass Effect 3 has all this here's this weird little boy thing, and the Reapers are these weird it's they injected elements into the game that clearly weren't planned all along, so it just feels whatever. But the thing is that they still did a great job with the characters through those games. So the best part of Mass Effect wasn't ruined. The lore was a little bit botched. Probably, but
yeah, I miss the days of BioWare just making one-offs. I think Mass Effect 3 should have ended Mass Effect period. If they wanted to make another space game, I guess they could use the Mass Effect name, but there's so many other ideas. Now I feel like we're stuck with, and I mean I love Dragon Age, but we have fantasy with Dragon Age, sci-fi with Mass Effect. There's not I know you guys may not have played it because did you have an original Xbox?
Yeah.
I know you got one at the very end, right? Mm-hmm. Jade Empire is the coolest RPG. I mean, I want to replay it. I haven't played it in years. But, a game that's set in, fantasy mythology China where you're also, fighting with gods and it's, a really cool fighting game was just, whoa, this is cool. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, a great game built on the Star Wars license. And then it's now we're just stuck where we have two choices.
But see, that's how I feel about Prey. Whereas the original Prey was Native American science fiction.
You have to call this
That's
game
a good point.
Okay, but you need to take
But that's
the
what I'm
name
saying.
away.
Hey everyone, venture into the pop culture cosmos today, where you'll hear our conversations on different topics within the world of movies, TV, video games, comic books, technology, board gaming, and more. You'll also get a taste of some of our other shows within the cosmos as well. So come on and join us each week as we delve into the pop culture cosmos.
Welcome to the pop culture cosmos.
Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia while we're talking.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, isn't there supposed to be a Fire Emblem for Nintendo Switch coming out?
Next year. Yeah.
Next year, yeah.
And they have a Fire Emblem Heroes, which is Dynasty Warriors with Fire Emblem characters coming out this year, but I don't really care.
Nice.
I don't know why they're still doing the whole like, hey, just release it, because I would love to play it. I played my 3DS recently, and it's not a bad console at all. It's amazing, or a bad handheld. The buttons are very small, and once you play the Switch and you play with slightly bigger buttons, they're not enormous. It's like, man, just release everything on both systems. Like, stop making me have to decide to buy games for a system that you're probably going to discontinue, like you did with the Wii U, in 5 or 6 months or a year or whatever. And keep telling people that we're on a 3-pillar strategy or whatever they told everybody.
How long was the Wii U out for before? Did they stop making it?
Yeah, they stopped last year. It was out from 2013 to 2012 to late 2016. Okay. 4 years. It's almost the shortest console. I think the original Xbox is the shortest console, or no, Dreamcast, shortest console in the market. But I just still don't get like the idea, because like if you remember, do you guys remember before the Switch was, when it was back to NX, they called it, the Nintendo had the 3-pillar strategy, which is that there would still be Wii U games being made, there would still be 3DS games being made, and then Switch would just be this, or NX at the time, would just be this third pillar to the company. Mm-hmm. And then now they're like, oh, no, we never said that. The 3 pillars are phone, 3DS, and Switch. And I have a feeling that soon enough they're going to be like, nah, we'll just have Switch and phone. And it's like, oh, you just bought this game on 3DS? Well, I hope you enjoyed it, because you can never play it again.
It's your new Switch phone.
Switch phone.
It
looks cool. I just think
the 3 pillars are Joy-Con part 1, the screen, and then the other Joy-Con.
Well, I think what it is that Nintendo is secretly owned by EA, and they just had to rush out the
they
Switch.
Rush out all their ideas. Yeah, they rush out Switch.
You know, the guy that runs EA probably like enjoys stealing presents from children at Christmas or something, and he's like, you know, I assume that he's got like a Jim Crockett from Christmas Tale, like what's the Dickens character?
Oh, Jiminy Cricket?
No,
or not Cricket. About the kid?
Are you talking
about the Tiny Tim's dad?
Oh, I don't remember his
Jim Crockett. I don't know. But where, you know, like some guy goes in like, hey, like what if we just like spent longer and made like we still made millions of dollars, but just like 1 million less, but we made it a product that people loved. I'd rather just take my million here. Like,
no,
screw that. Like, release it now.
That's how I imagine the people who own Nintendo. They would probably, if given the opportunity, go into someone's house on Christmas Eve, steal the presents, and sell them.
Oh, man.
Actually, the people that own Nintendo are a trip, the shareholders, because apparently they all hate video games.
Yeah.
Which is why Nintendo has such a hard time. Like, I remember when they always released the shareholder meeting like transcripts when Iwata was the president of Nintendo or whatever, and he like people would ask him questions like, "Hi, I'm a shareholder and I think video games are stupid. How are you going to make me money?" Like, and that's the thing. It's like a bunch of old business tycoons in Japan that hate video games.
Why own Nintendo then?
Well, Nintendo used to be a game company, but they might have owned it because Nintendo won it in NES. Made so much money that they're probably just like, hey, you want to buy stocks, you want to buy stuff and things that are going to grow. A lot of people thought they were probably going to continue to grow, but they actually didn't sell. They kept like making less and less sales on consoles up to the Wii. Mm-hmm. That's when it like skyrocketed again. Then when it's like the NES original was tons, Super NES was less, N64 was less, GameCube was less. I think GameCube was like 22 million.
The most was Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy was the most at 1 million sold. No, but anyways, tell us about Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia. Sorry, I'm butthurt. I want to play it.
I actually don't have much to say about it. I'm just planning on picking it up because the main thing that I didn't like with Fire Emblem was the last 3 games.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mean the last game, but it's actually 3 parts. Because I don't want people to think you don't like Awakening, which is
Awakening's incredible. It's like, here's 3 games that are the same game, and there's no benefit to playing all of them. They're just different, but they're not 3 separate games. They're tied together, but they're not.
But you need to buy 3. You need to buy 2 games and a DLC. Yeah. Or you could pay $80 to get this special edition we released.
To experience the whole thing.
On 1 cartridge, but we're not going to sell it any other way.
But there's no like change of events. Like there's no like, oh, you did this in this game and this in this game, so now this is different. Like there's nothing like that. It's like pointless.
Yeah. So like I was saying, if they would have just released more of those special edition cartridges, my opinion of it might have changed because I would have spent $80 one time, got all the games, and I would have thought, okay, whatever, I have all the games. But they released like 100 copies of those, and then they were getting scalped for $300 a piece. It's like, Nintendo! Stupid. They make the same mistake over and over and over again. It's like, I think what's that? It's like the definition of insanity is when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again,
expecting a different result.
Yeah, that is Nintendo.
So Nintendo.
Oh, let's release special editions of our games. Only make like 100 of them so scalpers can make money. Oh, let's release the NES Classic, but only release like a couple million of them so scalpers can make money.
Let's not release a virtual console ever.
Why? None of this stuff makes sense to people. Like I don't get like who at Nintendo's like, you know what we don't want? People to give us money. So let's do this. Like, yeah. I want to play Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia. I'm sure a lot of Switch owners want to too. I think a lot of us are like, why would I buy a game for a previous console when I already have this?
The thing is, gamers, like, if they really want to play a game, they will find a way to play it. Like, if you
they'll emulate it.
Emulators, or use one of those, like, every Christmas, how they have those, like, generic Super Nintendo or Sega consoles come out. They'll find a way to play it, and that's what Nintendo needs to realize, is that if they don't make money off of it, somebody else is going to.
Well, I think they realize that. They just don't care. Like, I don't think nobody in their company ever went on eBay and saw, oh, the NES Classic's selling for $350. Why don't we just make more of them? Because people obviously want it. It's like, nah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia, let's release on our old system that we're going to keep supporting. And they may keep supporting it, but if they're supporting it the next year, then the Switch is in big trouble. Because that was their problem with the Wii U, is they had some good games, but like the Switch is right now, the next big Nintendo game is Splatoon 2, which I don't even care for in June. And they have nothing really till Mario at the end of the year that I'm interested in. But continue, sorry I went on a rant. I'm just disappointed.
We do not rant on this podcast.
This is a rant-only rant about Brad Pitt.
This is
I love him.
Serene podcast, peaceful.
Yeah, I don't really know what to...
I like, one of the things I'm interested in Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia is it has like a traditional RPG movement where like you go through the world as a character walking around instead of just click on the map, go here, go here. That's cool. I don't understand why they didn't do that for every Fire Emblem. I think that's always more fun to go around, and then I know it's harder to make the battles work, but I think that's cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to... just playing something on my 3DS until... Yeah,
man. 3DS was... and it is an awesome, like, handheld. Yeah. Like, are you going to get the new Nintendo 2DS XL?
I thought about it.
It looks cool. I'm tempted to sell my 3DS XL and then buy them. Like, I played my 3DS, and the buttons were actually kind of giving me a cramp, so I haven't picked it up for a little bit.
I've never had that problem. I have that problem on the Vita sometimes.
Yeah, the Vita, it's because they did the stupid joysticks where they did it.
But I don't want to say... I want to sort of not really say that because I love the Vita.
I love the Vita too, but the joystick placement is annoying. Yeah. So
it's annoying when you have to push on it.
Yeah.
Which is rare, but...
You have to push on... Joysticks don't have a click. Right? No, joysticks don't have a click there. It's just, you hold it... The reason why it's annoying is because you're holding it like this, and then
there's your problem, because you're playing games like this.
I play my games like this, and then I'm...
Doesn't the Vita have...
I use my phone, too.
The Vita has a thing on the back, right? Where you can move it has the sensor...
I've never played a game where that was used in any way effectively.
Tearaway is an awesome game. Tearaway is the only game that like used the Vita. Kind of like how Super Mario Maker is like the only game that used the Wii U.
Solid Sanctuary uses the touchscreen.
But like for like cool effect, because that was my favorite thing about Tearaway. It'd be like you tap the back and it would do like bouncing mechanics, and you'd be bouncing around, and then. Did you played a little bit of it, right?
Yeah.
You like look up and there'd be a picture of like you and the sun, and it was so stupid, but just so much fun.
That was great.
But anyway, sorry. Back to you're excited to play something on 3DS.
Yeah, I want to keep the hope alive that Radiant Historia remake is going to come out in the US.
Isn't it supposed to come out in the US in June, or is that Japan?
I don't know.
I think that's here.
So. If it is. I mean, I don't even need a Switch. That's the only game I'll play.
But you already played it. It's the exact same one you can already play on your DS.
It's new graphics and stuff.
No.
Yeah, it's remade.
Let me see. I'm going to check this out right now because I'm almost positive, man, that it's the exact same. Like.
Then I'll just have to play it again. Because it's that cool.
3DS. I am almost positive. Let me see if it's a remake.
I heard it was redrawn.
Let me see. Continues to be a 3DS remake. Okay, here, I'll try to find a bigger picture of the graphics. This is the 3DS remake. Doesn't it look almost identical to you? And for viewers at home, we'll put up something.
This is... I don't know, actually. I can't totally tell.
I could pull up a DS one, but this is also the.
That's definitely different.
This is? Well, just the picture, but this is normal.
Yeah, I've heard it's a graphic remake, but I don't know. I don't really
And this
know.
is also the 3DS remake, and I remember this from the DS.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't really know how different it's going to be. But
They say it just doesn't change a whole lot, does it? Was what people were talking about. This is Radiant Historia. It's a great game, but it's literally the DS game. I don't know why they're putting it on the 3DS, to be honest. Like, I don't.
So they're not actually upgrading it or anything?
I mean, it looks like they did like one portrait of the character slightly differently. But anyways, we should probably wrap this up kind of soon. We've been going for a little bit. Any other news stories you guys want to talk about?
No, but I mean, next time we will be talking about E3 a little bit.
We have literally still nothing to talk about it, though. We'll try to figure something out, but I guess we could talk about predictions.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to... I honestly am... There's been no leaks, nothing this year. Nintendo just announced that they're doing another Nintendo Direct, which we knew about, but they announced the time. So...
I think, I bet Dragon Age will be announced.
I think it seems so weird. I kind of agree with you because the timing seems right. It's been 3 years since the last one, but it seems weird because they just released Andromeda to be like, hey... Dragon Age.
But I mean, they have a different team.
No, yeah, for sure. It feels weird, you know? Like, Andromeda did really bad right out of the gate. BioWare, hey, guess what? We're making another game. And it should actually almost be out. My guess is Dragon Age could be out as early next year. They probably could release it this year, which would be really, really weird.
Yeah.
But
I've seen something about it, though.
What?
If they're going to release it that
they did the last Dragon Age
necessarily.
Inquisition, I think was only 6 months.
I think most, critically now, people are really heavy-handed towards long hype trains.
Yeah, they don't like that. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 did the stupid thing by announcing this fall, and some people are like, it's probably going to get pushed back, and now nobody cares. Like, if you remember that game, that trailer came out the same day as the Nintendo Switch trailer, and no one talked about Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, and that Red Dead Redemption was huge. Like, Grand Theft Auto 5 is, I think, the highest-selling game
Well, also,
ever
Ubisoft's doing not a Far Cry.
Assassin's Creed? You mean the Egypt one?
Just Cause. That's
that's Square Enix.
It's Far Cry Origins, and it's supposed to be a Western.
Assassin's Creed Origins. You're talking about
in
Egypt?
Assassin's Creed Origins. But they also someone leaked
Far Cry Origins.
The next Far Cry is going to be a Western.
I mean, I love Far Cry 4, but as long as it's got co-op, I'm interested. Far Cry Origins. Are you sure?
They were talking about this on a podcast yesterday. Yeah, Far Cry 5 is probably set in Montana.
Okay.
Might be a spaghetti western.
Or is this Montana modern day?
Yeah.
You literally could probably get away with it. Just put it in some areas where there's no cars.
Next Far Cry game to have a Wild West setting out in September, according to VG247.
If it has co-op, I'm in. If it does what stupid Primal did and removes the best thing about 4...
Primal still has some fun moments in it, though.
They took out co-op. Like, hey, let's add this awesome thing that's a lot of fun that you can play with your friends and make a game totally new, a brand new experience. Let's just take it out. Nobody wants to play with their friends. Like, why would we keep the one cool thing we had to Far Cry 4?
You know what I would love for the next spin-off Far Cry, Blood Dragon, is instead of riffing on 80s movies, if they riffed on teen vampire movies, and they filled it with intentionally terrible acting, bad characters, great gameplay.
Yeah.
That would be
Far
fun.
Cry is still probably, I'm trying to think, Ubisoft franchises. I think it's my favorite Ubisoft franchise. I loved Rayman Legends, but I don't really consider that franchise. They've said 2, and I don't think that guy's working on those. But I think Far Cry is better than Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yeah.
And they're...
Because everything's better than Assassin's Creed.
They had Ghost... They kind of have Ghost Recons, but that's not something they really do very often. They do that, they had the one this year, but the previous year was 5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We should probably hit the road and come talk to you guys again next week.
All right.
Peace.
Oh, yeah.
That to us people that can feel things, it hurts.